Guys, I'm super excited to be live with Mela Lee right now. Mela has worked on Apex Legends, Mortal Kombat, Avengers Assemble, Miraculous Ladybug, or Miraculous Nanatsu, some anime that I need to ask you more about, and Ruby, among a ton of other things. Welcome.
Yes. Hi.
How's it going?
Great. I just finished physical therapy. Everybody, we can celebrate. Mela is out of her cast and crutches. I started the year off great. I landed in LA. We have what we call earthquake pavements. So it's kind of like Super Mario's where it just kind of drops. Sometimes they're not glued to the earth. So I was just walking, I had gone on this amazing walk or hike in Malibu, came home and thought, let's go to the store real quick. Maybe one house over from my house. And I I slipped. I guess I landed on one of those pavements, rolled my ankle, fell into a manhole, did this really cool ninja roll out of it. And then my friend was like, damn, that was cool. And then she said, oh, why did you do that? And I heard it go snap, snipple, crack. Dislocated, fractured, tore 2 ligaments, go big or go home.
Oh my God. Tell me how you learned Spanish and French.
Oh, estoy aprendiendo español. Solo hablo un poquito. I don't speak a lot of it, but I did go to school in El Paso. And so probably 60-70% of the people in El Paso speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I can understand it very well, but I don't speak it as much because when do I do it? But that's the thing I want to do this year. I want to get back in touch with languages.
Yeah.
But, and French, we spoke when I was a little girl. And so, je parle un peu de français aussi. J'oublie beaucoup parce que les personnes ici parlent avec moi. So no one really speaks French with me here.
Yeah.
But it's in there.
Is your dad French Caribbean or it just was a language? Oh.
Polynesian, Creole, Ethiopian, and Welsh, actually.
Wow. Dude, what a cool mix.
Yeah.
I know you have a bunch of accents on your resume, so I wasn't sure which were coming from growing up with parents who had accents or
my mother was in the Air Force and diplomatic service, and so I just met a lot of people from all over the world and lived all over the world.
Oh, cool.
And I didn't aspire to do voiceover. It just, people would be like, is there any way you could do? And so I think the first half of my career was very much, I just had an affinity for being someone else, I guess. When you move 26 times before you're 21, you kind of have to figure it out. But what's interesting is I was in a car accident in 2014 and I fractured my back. You guys, I guess I'm danger prone sometimes.
I was going to ask you about that because I'm sure it was
rarely, but very rare. But I had a car accident. Someone was texting and they ran a red light. And I was on Genesee and Sunset, and it was one of those days where I always take the same way to get over to Warner Brothers. But on this particular day, I thought I'm going to just turn on the street with lots of trees.
Oh my God.
And it was beautiful. And they had just paved Sunset. So, when sometimes a street is higher when you're getting into it. So I had a very low car at the time. And so I was going over that construction part where the asphalt goes up. So I was not moving very much. And it was just like in the movies where you're just having your day. And then, in the movies where it goes, it just surprises you. I remember just seeing a white sports car to my left, and then it was spinning in the gray. And you don't know you flatlined or passed. You don't know that's actually happening. Time for a few weeks when you're remembering the accident, even you're like, I don't know, but I remember spinning in the gray for a long time and I didn't feel any pain. And I was just kind of floating for a while. And then someone whispered in my ear, if you don't breathe, you'll die. And it wasn't a panic. It was just a choice. And I remember thinking, oh, wait, I have a great life. I got to go. And I took a deep breath and I opened my eyes, and it was the most pain I've ever felt in my life. All the things when you're in the hospital and you're looking up and the lights are flashing over your head, people are talking about you, but they think you can't hear them because you're kind of out, but you can, but you can't speak. And it was an experience.
So wait, so you're working through getting better. And at this point, are you a working voice actress? Have you figured out that that's what you like? Where are you at this point
Well,
in your career
at
to
that
get
point,
yourself back together
in
again?
2008, 2009, I was a bank analyst for a Wall Street mortgage firm. And doing some
Wow.
voiceover, but like gonna go to law school because who makes a living as a voice actress?
Right.
That's what I was thinking, right? Because my family's like, sure, it's a nice hobby. So I'm working, had paid off my student loans, was getting ready to pretty much grow up and go to law school. And I'm in this hospital in the best like spine center in one of the best in the world, and the Hunt Spine Center. And I woke up and it was like a Dorothy moment, and you were there, but producers from, the sound supervisor from Breaking Bad and The Good Wife was there, and Yuri Lowenthal and Jason Charles Miller and people from Bang Zoom. And it was just all of these people in the hospital that week. And I thought, you don't need to go to law school. Like I missed 4 months of work and not a single bill. Every single day I had a friend from the industry care for me. So I had 24-hour care. And I mean, I couldn't bathe myself. I couldn't get up. I couldn't walk. I mean, so this
How long was this?
About 4 months before I could kind of take care of myself.
Yeah.
But it was one of those moments where like, what do you really want to do? And I thought this, because they made sure I had handicap accessible studios to finish some of my sessions. It was just, Cindy Robinson, Kate Higgins, like there's a big long list of really wonderful people. And it was so lovely. I'd spent the first 5 years of my voiceover career doing mostly ADR.
I want to ask about that.
Voice matching, voice replacement. I was kind of good at being in the dark, not being seen. It felt comfortable. And I thought I'd really love to do AAA games and animation. While I was recovering, learning how to walk again, I got to see myself as a warrior goddess, as Jade, as a lifeline who, revives people in Apex. So these are the things I was, recording while I was reimagining what life could be like when I was well.
Wow. And
I'm very big into neuroplasticity, and your brain just has to remap things. So anybody who's interested, if you've had traumatic brain injury, which I did, strokes or certain types of brain damage, the brain is like the supercomputer, and almost every cell has the whole motherboard on it. So it takes time, but your body can just redirect, it's like a detour. I just started having such a great time. Getting to work with NetherRealm was a dream come true. And then Apex. I mean, I love all my jobs, but Apex was really, really special.
Because you worked on that for a while before it came out.
We did. Also, we thought it was going to be Titanfall, maybe. They didn't tell us a title.
Yeah.
And then in September, before it came out, it was supposed to come out in September, and they're like, well, we're going to wait and put it out in January.
You're like, no.
And I was like, okay. Long. They're like, but it's good. People like it. And you're like, because in Hollywood, you never know if you are going to be on the shelf or not. When I went back, I think for a pickup in November, they said, yeah, we're not really going to do a campaign. It's going to be a surprise launch. We'll just see if it lands. You know what that sounds like, Carolina. You're like, oh, so this is going to get tabled. And that week, January came and went, and there was no game. And I was like, oh, it was really fun though, right?
Yeah.
And at 1:00 in the afternoon on February 4th, 2019, I got an email from the casting director, and she said, hey, if you have time, would you mind posting your game came out today? And I went online like we do, because sometimes we don't see the full renders. We see, images that are reminiscent, and like original Lifeline, it was very TLC, like Left Eye Lopez. So we were always singing, don't go chasing Titanfall. We were like just constantly making this joke. So I didn't know what she looked like. So I'm looking on the internet, already 1 million people are playing it. It's like this instant success. I'm freaked out. I go ahead and post about it, but can't take my eyes off of social media, because what is happening?
You mentioned that a lot of the characters are parts of you. And I was curious as to how you found Tikki inside of you, because she's adorable.
It's funny because we all read for several parts, but Tikki, there's a very sunny side of my personality. there's two types of people that succumb to the darkness, and it's no judgment. Sometimes you've had a dark existence or childhood or tragedy, and it really, it overwhelms you. But I always felt like I had angels and others watching over me, telling me that it would get better, and it did, and telling me to take it one breath at a time. And so when they show you the initial drawings, there's this thing, you go back to being like 6 or 7. You're not judging it. It's weird. In animation and games, a lot of times you don't really see renderings, and then they'll kind of dial in a voice. But for her, she was like, everybody has a little something inside of them to make them miraculous, especially you. And it just felt very, it's okay. Marinette is very insecure about who she really is. She's only a superhero some of the time, which is all of us, right? Yeah. And we think, wow, if we have a good story to share on Instagram, if we're the hero, everyone will love us. But it's difficult to celebrate ourselves when the cameras are off, or when the lighting is wrong, or the pimples are there, or the job didn't come.
Yeah.
And I love that Tikki loves Marinette in that she celebrates her all the time. So I think, and a beautiful thing is I had just been cast as Tikki, and we did this live reading, and 3 days later, I met my biological father for the first time. Wow. And the first thing he said to me, not knowing anything, he said, "Hello, Ladybug." But Tikki's like a love letter from the universe. It's interesting, because now I know more that I have the Polynesian background. So I'm playing all these Tikkis. I got to play Jade, who's very much like this Indo-Asian African influence. And it's interesting how when we settle into ourselves, that we get these confirmations from the universe. And Lifeline, same thing. There's a picture of my Nana at 20, and she just looks just like Lifeline. Like there's spitting image down to like little freckles.
Can you give me a few voice lines as Jade and as Lifeline?
Jade reminds me very much of Mela, who was younger, ironically, quite serious, able to get the job done. Jade, I remember I auditioned, by the way, for Guard A. So always imagine that you're going for the lead. But she said, "Well, you seem confident. Now you seem overconfident." And so she was just really just understated. Lifeline was like, "Pass me that sugar. I'm not the one you should be afraid of. It's them upstairs." And so it's kind of like she was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like some of the scenes never made it, but there was like the scene of like, we were underneath the arena. And so she's like, no, 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 put your gun down. And so I remember even thinking, well, if they want like Jamaican voodoo priestess, I can't do that. But, having some of the Creole and the Trini background, I was like, I pulled from this. And it was wonderful because they're like, actually, we don't want the accent to define the person. We don't want a trope. We want a person. So what can you bring to it? And so it was really exciting. And I love, because one of the things my Nana does say, "Pass me that sugar." She's very like, she's got that attitude that,
It's also really sweet though. That's what's so magical about that. It's like attitude, but it's really freaking sweet.
Yeah. And then there is a new show coming out, executive produced by Jackie Tone and Kristen Bell.
Oh, wow.
Created by Michael Scharf and Jackie Tone, and it's coming out on Amazon in May, and it's called Do Re and Me. And it is based on music, and
they're little birds, right? That sing.
Yes. Yeah. Little birds who sing. And I remember even auditioning for that. And, sometimes we're always worried about perfection. But when I saw this drawing, she teaches music, it just reminded me of, jazz and Magnolia Memoir. So I was like, well, Do, how does that make you feel? Because sometimes music can make you feel sad, or if you're feeling sad, sometimes you just have to make up music that makes you feel happy. Like, something like that. What are you feeling, Do? And so she was very much like, well, music is magical, but whatever comes up, it's like there's no wrong answers. It's very jazz. And so there's this character I play, and I just loved her, because she's like, that sounds good. And when we got in, it turned out that one of the producers had seen me in Magnolia Memoir. And the casting director said, hey, I just she pulled me aside. She goes, I just wanted to let you know you weren't what we were looking for. And I was like, thanks.
Thanks. Yeah.
She's like, no, we imagined like a primary school, like third grade teacher who would just explain the music. And so it'd be a really fun show, but there'd be a teacher in the sky going, well, that's a whole note, like very dry. But the moment I kind of settled into my own musical background, they just were like, that's it. That's it. She's Maestro Moon.
Mela, parting words of wisdom as I let you go off into your 1,000 million recording sessions that you have to do.
No matter what the day brings, and I say it to everyone, you matter, you mean something, and you make a difference.
Yeah.
In the lives of everyone around you. Don't ever think that you don't matter. You more than matter. And do follow me on social media. If there's any questions you guys have, I'm the Mela Lee at Gmail is my email, or just the Mela Lee on Insta. And in case I've opened up something that you're like, woo, you know, because every now and then you just want to talk. Okay, I'll check out those DMs and have each other. And thank you for providing this platform, Carolina.
You're so welcome. It's a pleasure. Guys, keep booming and booping.
Okay.